fundsupermart.com.
The fund's portfolio has large active weights in the physical bonds of Malaysia, South Korea, and Thailand. Can you briefly explain the rationale behind these investment decisions?
The overweights to these markets are primarily for the reason of enhancing the yield. If you think about overweights, you need to identify underweights. And what we've done in the portfolio is remain underweight to two markets where the yields are very unattractive. The easiest market to be underweight is the Hong Kong market. In Hong Kong, we see yields as being very low. Obviously, yields are driven heavily by external influences, given the peg of the Hong Kong dollar. Yields are low, the currency's pegged. It's an unattractive bond market. In Singapore also, yields are very low. If you're looking at very short-term bonds, we're looking, particularly government bonds, yields are less than 50 basis points, 0.5%. And so these two markets are unattractive from a yield perspective. And so what we've done is remain underweight, move to underweight position in these Hong Kong bonds, Singapore bonds, bond markets, with a preference to enhance the yield of the portfolio by allocating to the Malaysian market, the Thai market, and Korean market. Yields in these three markets are approximately 3.5%. And so on a relative value basis across the countries, these markets are appealing. We don't anticipate substantial increases in yields across the region. Indeed, in Singapore, yields seem very well anchored, and so there's little risk to that underweight position at this point in time. However, that's the bond exposure. If I separate, as I highlighted, the management of the currency risk from the bond risk, we still like the Singapore dollar to some extent. The Monetary Authority of Singapore has a very transparent and credible monetary policy focus. It still prefers the currency to appreciate gradually against its trading partners. And as a result, we think there is some merit in holding some exposure to the Singapore dollar as a means to diversify the currency base. So we've separated the bond exposure, the very low yielding Singapore bond exposure, in favor of the higher yielders, but we've hedged some of that currency risk by holding some of the Singapore dollar.
The fund has 0% exposure to the physical bonds and currencies of two countries, namely India and Taiwan. Why is this so?
In the case of both countries, access is an issue. Access is an issue for many countries in Asia. At Aberdeen, we're fortunate enough to have access to the Chinese mainland market. We do invest using our qualified foreign institutional investors license and quota in the mainland bond market for the shorty product. It is in small size, but we still allocate some of the quota to this fund and identify significant opportunities in the Chinese bond market. I mentioned China because China is one market that has access considerations, and many investors can't gain access to the onshore bond market. Similarly, there are access considerations in India and Taiwan. In the case of India, we identify the market as being quite appealing, and we work on gaining access to that market. We think that over time, as we are able to access the market on behalf of this product, we will look to use a quota to enter. In the case of in the case of Taiwan, access is also an issue. However, yields are low. They're low for a very good reason. There's an excess supply of capital in Taiwan. And as a result, the government, the Central Bank of China, the Central Bank of Taiwan, is not in a position, or is not very willing to attract foreign capital. And so as a result, the barriers to entry are quite large. We don't see that as being a very large constraint on the portfolio, as we don't see the opportunities in Taiwan as being all that attractive anyway. So at the moment, we believe that the Asian bond universe, the currencies that we have exposure to in the portfolio, is quite diverse. There are significant opportunities, and those opportunities are not constrained by access considerations that I've mentioned.
What are the reasons for a Singapore-based investor to invest in this fund, considering the relative strength of the Singapore dollar?
The first reason is really simple in that we don't believe that it's right that investors should put all of their eggs into one basket. The Singapore dollar is one of the currencies in Asia that should appreciate gradually over time. But as we've seen over the course of the last 6 to 8 months, the Singapore dollar can perform very differently to the other currencies in Asia. So notwithstanding the fact that Asian currencies on average are likely to appreciate in line with economic fundamentals, there will be great divergence across the countries. And so investors need to think about diversifying their portfolio away from the Singapore dollar into some other currencies. We've seen some investors look in that diversification pursuit towards the Chinese renminbi. And we all know very well that the CNH market has been of great interest to many investors. We've also resisted the focus of just one market. The Chinese renminbi is very appealing, and I remind investors of the appealing risk characteristics of the renminbi. However, we see at this point in time significant opportunity in Korea for outperformance, in Malaysia, in the Philippines, and as a result, we encourage investors to think about diversifying their currency exposure away from the Singapore dollar towards a broader suite of currencies. At various points in time, as we've experienced and we've demonstrated in the management of the portfolio, it's important to respond to the changing opportunities. And so there are times when you do need to reduce your exposure to Korea in favor of the Chinese renminbi. But at the very end of the day, it's important to keep a portfolio that's very well diversified and flexible to respond to the opportunities as they emerge and evolve. I would also add that for Singaporean-based investors, the opportunity in the short duration space in cash is very limited. Yields are very low, and I mentioned in the government bond universe, with government bonds of maturity less than 3 years, we're looking at bond yields that are less than 0.5%. And as a result, the opportunities are, in our view, there for investors to get that diversification that I mentioned, but also to enhance the yield of their portfolio. The Asian currency short duration bond fund, Shorty, has a yield at this point in time somewhere in the order of 3%. So we're looking at not only a diversified set of opportunities, but the opportunity to also enhance the yield.